Assalamualaikum and hi, we are from Group C. I'm going to present about our group assignment. First of all, let me introduce my group member. The first one is NOOR ALLYSA NADHIRAH binti SYAMSUL AMRI, NOOR AMIRA NATASYA binti JOHAR, NOOR NASYITAH binti SHAMSUL BAHARI, NOOR FARAHNABILLAH binti HATTA, and the last one is NOOR SHUHADA binti AHMAD NAZIM. For question number 1, the question asks us to prepare the journal entries to record the expenditure incurred subsequent to the acquisition of building in 2020 and determine the new cost of the building. And this is how we settle the question. For question number 2, the question asks us to calculate the new annual depreciation for the building after the replacement made in 2020. The first one is, we have to calculate the depreciation for 2020. After that, we have to calculate the depreciation for 2021. Next, for the question number 3, we have to prepare the journal entries to record the revaluation of the building at the end of 2022. So, we have to debit the accumulated depreciation and credit the warehouse and unrealized gain on revaluation. For question number 4, we have to prepare the journal entries to record the disposal for part of the building at the end of 2023. For question number 5A, we have to calculate the amount of interest to be capitalized in 2020 and prepare the related journal entries. For section B, we have to calculate the amount of interest to be capitalized in 2021 and prepare the related journal entries. For question number 6, the question asks us to analyze whether the company should report an impairment loss of 100,000 ringgit. So the answer is, Pinewood Berhad should not declare the 100,000 impairment loss. It has sustained sins such as loss show that the carrying amount of an asset is larger than its recoverable amount. When the business can make back the money, it puts into a long-term tangible asset through operation or the sales of the asset. The asset is said to be impaired. For question 7, we have to explain how the government grant received in 2022 and need to be reported. So, we have to record the opening of different grant revenue when the grant is received, which is we have to debit cash for 2 million ringgit and credit deferred grant account for 2 million ringgit. At the end of December 2022, the remaining balance in the deferred grant income account is 1,600,000 ringgit and this must be recorded as a liability in the balance sheet. For question 8, we have to discuss with Ms. Shifa on the required accounting treatment for inventories according to MFRS 102. A is, what is the net realizable value? Net realizable value is the estimated selling price in the ordinary course of business less the estimated cost of completion and the estimate cost necessary to make the sale. In brief, NRV could be referred as the net process received from the sales of inventory. B. Explain her confusion on the reasons on the values of inventory that may be less than cost. The reason on the value of inventory may be less than cost is because of the damage. Physical damage or deterioration of inventory can result in a decrease in the selling price. 9. We have to identify subsequent measurement model adopted by Pinewood Berhad to account for the pattern and justify the answer in relation with MFRS 138. For question 10, we have to prepare journal entries necessary to record the cost of the pattern, amortization expense and increase in market fair value of the pattern in 2021. Same like question number 10, but the question 11, we have to record the journal entries in 2022. For question 12, we have to prepare journal entries necessary to record the cost of the customer list and the amortization expense in 2022. Question 13 asks us to discuss whether the director's view about the amortization and impairment test of the trademark is in line with the requirement of MFRS 138 intangible asset or not. After the discussion, the director's view about the amortization and impairment test of the trademark is not in line with the requirement of MFRS 138 intangible asset. According to MFRS 138, an intangible asset with an indefinite useful life should not be amortized but should be tested for impairment annually or more frequently if there is an indication of impairment. Question 14 asks us to prepare journal entries necessary for the trademark in 2022 and discuss whether Pinewood Berhad should conduct an impairment test for the trademark on 31 December 2022. Question 15 asks us to determine the amount of goodwill recognized that may be arised from the acquisitions of Jati Rastik, if any, on 31 July 2022, and the impairment loss, if any, to be recorded on 31 December 2022. So the first one is we have to calculate the fair value of Jati Rastik net asset. After that, we can determine the goodwill recognized. How to recognize the goodwill is acquisition cost minus with fair value of non-identifiable asset acquired, and there is no evidence of impairment for Jati Rastik divisions at the end of December 31, 2022 based on the fact provided. Therefore, there is no need to record an impairment loss. For the last question, we have to explain why the company senior accountant think that the accounting treatment suggested by the company BOD in allocating the division's impairment loss is not in accordance with MFRS 136 impairment of asset, and determine the correct allocation of the impairment loss. So the answer is, it is determined that the recoverable amount of the division is 300,000, which is lower than the carrying amount of all the assets within the division. And according to MFRS 136, when assessing the impairment of cash generating unit, the impairment loss should be allocated to the individual asset of CGU in a specific order. Based on MFRS 136, the correct allocation of the impairment loss should be as follows. Therefore, the correct allocating of the impairment loss in this case would be as follows. And that's all from us. Thank you.